So I got her ass back in there, got all them bolts in there. 4 subframe bolts. Now I'm going up with my car. That's my jack I had up under there. Yeah, also I put a little scissor jack up under there. Make sure I didn't hit nothing on the boat. So her ass is back in there, and now I just got to put her ass back together. Just like I took her ass apart. So, I guess I'll go ahead and record that too. So first off, I'm going to clean up my area again. Let her down. So I can see this bitch on the ground again. So I'm back in here with my motor and my transmission. First thing you're going to want to do is make sure ain't nothing in the way. Jack this thing on up and get these motor mounts up in here. It's the main thing. Once you get the motor mounts in there, you just go rolling on everything. So I'll just show y'all here in a few. Alright, so I had my shit jacked up. I went ahead and I got my 2 motor mounts bolted up. So now I'm going to go ahead and get my HT lines hooked up. My transmission lines hooked up. I'm going to get all the small shit hooked up real quick. Go down here and get my axles back in and my struts and my brake calipers on. So, got my axle nuts back on and my strut nuts. I put some new brakes on, so I'm waiting on them. I got my piece on right here with my 6 nuts. And I got my power steering line back up here with the 2 nuts on it. So now I'm gonna go ahead and grab my bumper and slap that on real quick. Slap these lights up in it. My camera's dirty. Alright, so I got my front bumper on. We get my lights hooked up. I'm gonna go ahead and get my torque converter bolts in real quick. My bottom transmission bolts. My drive shaft. Hook that up here. Use Loctite on them bolts. I'm also going to use Loctite on these torque converter bolts. And then I'm going to put my motor mount right here also. And I'm going to get my exhaust up here. Looks like I'm going to replace the oil filter because it's been in. And I'll show y'all as I go through it. This is my Loctite that I'm going to use right here. It's just some red shit. I'll show y'all with a torque converter bolt. Drop a little bit on here. Alright. This is a good tip if you don't want your bolts backing up. Get you a thing of this, or you get you a little thing of it. And you just put your little drop on there. This should keep your bolts from backing back out, man. Make them super tight. And it's just really good for your torque converter bolts and wheel bearings and stuff like that. You just axles, you just don't want it to back out. Drive shaft bolts. Yeah. This is what you use though. Right here. Alright. So I got my bottom transmission bolts in. My torque converter bolts in. These in. My mount in. Now I'm just going to do my exhaust and my drive shaft real quick. Alright, so I got my drive shaft back up. I'm going to wait on my exhaust for a few minutes. I got to find me some new bolts and nuts for them. But I'm going to go ahead and get these bolts zipped in so I don't forget them. Both sides. Also, I'm gonna get these side jinks right here. Put them nuts on there. Then I'm gonna come on down with the car. I should have an AC line down here I can get on. So I'm gonna go ahead and get that on. And find my other AC line. I'll try to get that on too. Alright, so I got my exhaust back on here. Bolted up everywhere. Now I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna do my brakes. So goddamn, put my tires back on, and then get my AC lines and everything else up top. I'm gonna come back here also and get my steering real quick. Might as well get that now. So I'm gonna do that. Really, I'm just gonna come up here and I'll pull it on down. And look at that, just like butter, it went right on that bitch. Alright, so I'm up here. Just got my AC lines on down there. Put my bolt in right here. And I'm gonna put my fans in. I'm gonna lift this up, slide my fans back in here real quick. Got my linkage back on. I'm also gonna go ahead and get my intake and throw that on there after I get my fans in here. Alright. So I got my fans up in here. I'm about to go on my intake. So as I go on with it, I'm gonna slip this thing on right here. On the back here. I'm gonna slide the rest of the way back there. Alright, so I got my intake back on here. I got my vacuum line on back there. I got the line on back here. I got this line on right here. Got my bolts bolted up and shit. Now I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna get my fuel line on. I got a couple ground wires here. I'm gonna get these plugged up over here. These two plugs. I think it's 3 ground wires. 2 gonna come from over here. All of them gonna go down here. Just right here. That's where they're gonna go. It's just like this one's gonna go up there onto the firewall. I'm gonna get my heater core hoses and my other wires hooked up. My other hoses hooked up. Get my battery box in here. So I got my battery box in here. It's just only got a bolt. The other 2, they always rust on here. Got my wire plugged up back here. It's underneath here. Big wire. Got my fuel line hooked up. Got everything except this stuff. It's gonna go on a positive right here. So I got these 2 wires that are gonna go right there. They're gonna go right here. Alright. And I still got my transmission lines underneath here. I'm gonna go do them. And I'm gonna come back up here. I got 1 radiator hose to put on. And 2 wires, my air box, my battery, and my coolant reservoir. I'm gonna put that on real quick too. Before I even go down there. Alright, so I got my 2 transmission lines hooked up. My lights hooked up. Go do the same on the other side. Oh, got to play with that one. Alright, then I'm gonna go ahead and put my brakes on. And my tires and my wheel sensor in there. Alright, so I got my new brake pads on. Also got my wheel sensor in. So give me a couple clips in here. Hold that bitch on. I'm gonna throw this tire on. I'm gonna go do the same to the other side. So I got my tires back on. I just did a walkthrough. Make sure everything's tight. Wires, hoses, look at everything. Steering. Changing my oil. So got my oil filter out. Gonna pop my drain plug out. Check my axles. So make sure you ain't got nothing dripping nowhere, nothing. Once you got your coolant in, I ain't got it in yet. Just looking over everything. Everything seems pretty good. So all I got up top is just put my air box back together and put this oil back in. Alright, so I'm up here, got my oil out, I'm about to put my oil in. I got my air box back on with the 8mm back here for my clamp. That's up there. Alright, got a hose right here that goes in here. Got a fucking mass airflow sensor right there, plug up. Got another hose that goes right here. Then you just got the bottom piece just pops in there and you just pop this on top of these two clips. Pretty simple. Everything back hooked up and shit. I'm about to put my oil in here now. And put my antifreeze in here and crank her ass on up. Alright, so I got everything hooked up, got all my fluids in. My oil, my antifreeze, power steering fluid, and I'm gonna go ahead and try to crank her ass on up. And I gotta fill her ass up with Freon. See how she runs. This is it. Sounds good. So maybe a little exhaust leak. What? Say she sounds damn good. Oh yeah. That's another good running one, man. I love it here, man. When the shit goes smooth, you just ain't got no choice but to just love it here. You know what I'm saying? That's a quiet one there. Yeah.